Welcome to With That Being Said, a Rue Fitness podcast where we get fit while having fun. Make sure to check us out on Instagram at Rue_fitness and on Facebook at Rue Fitness. Also give us a like, hit that subscribe button, share it with your friends, and give us a 5-star rating and review. Only kind words. Hey everybody, I'm Bradley, Sarah, and Emily.
What's up, y'all?
Hi.
What up? So recently I was part of the AMC Gamestop huge explosion on Reddit.
How much money did we lose?
A lot. About $1,000. Sometimes I still have all the stock. Maybe it'll come back. Who knows? I didn't sell it. I remember we were here on a Friday, and Reed's like, "You didn't get rid of that stuff?" And I'm like, "No." I bought it too high as it was, so I'm just gonna roll with it. I do have some inside sources.
Inside sources.
You got a person?
Kendall Jones.
Oh, bless.
She said that GameStop's going to be rolling something out here in a few weeks and the stock's going to go back up. So just hold. Diamond hands, here we come. All right.
She has nothing to do with the stock market. Her job is not stock market related.
She's in marketing.
She's
She's in
just
marketing.
like a random person's advice.
Yeah.
Roll with it.
But anyway, so you have all these other people, all right, jumping in. They're trying to find out the ins and outs of purchasing this GameStop. And they don't even have a 401k.
It's a shiny penny.
Right. It's like they don't have a Roth IRA. They're not saving money.
We do, by the way.
We do. And they're buying all these stocks that are volatile.
Yep.
Because it's hot. It's the new thing. It's what's people showing. So the same thing could be said for when we talk about this all the time, when the CrossFit Open comes out and they're like, muscle ups or chest to bar pull-ups, and people like, I got this RX. Okay, cool. How many strict pull-ups you can do? Well, none, but I'll
But
keep
I'm gonna go
these.
straight to the advanced stuff.
Cool. All right. And what about nutrition? You see this too?
All the time.
You mean we don't give you a meal plan?
Yeah.
Right. You mean I don't get macros from the start?
Nope, not with our program. With some programs you do. But that's like walking into a CrossFit gym for the first day. And, we start every person with fundamentals for a reason. It's to set themselves for success for the more advanced fancy stuff. But if you can't do an air squat, then let's not move to something more advanced just yet. Let's get the basics down first.
And with both how we onboard people at Rue and in Stacked, there is an element of show me, right?
Yes.
Even the most advanced athletes that come in here, Emily puts them through the same thing. You can say all of these great things, how you worked with a trainer for years and years and years. So what do we do? Okay, show me.
Yeah. If
Show me
somebody
what you can
comes
do.
in here and they say, I'm interested in joining Rue, I have 6 years of CrossFit experience. Generally, I just have them, okay, do a clean and jerk for me, go. And, I have them show me their level of expertise because, not all CrossFit experiences are created equal. I want to make sure that they are up to our level before I just throw them into a class.
Yeah. So we see this across everything, whether it's nutrition, whether it's fitness, whether it is your financial stability at home.
It's chasing the shiny penny sexy stuff rather than the fundamentals.
What do we call that?
So it's a concept that I like to refer to as mowing the lawn with your house on fire. You're focused in on this minor detail, this shiny penny, rather than focusing on the big picture and addressing the foundations first. The first thing you got to do in that situation is put the fire out. Does the lawn need to be cut at some point? Yes, but it's not the most important thing at the moment.
So give me some examples, nutrition-wise.
Yeah, so
Let's start off with that.
I caught up with a client earlier this week. She is in week 4 or 5 of Stacked Coaching. And she has had lots of experience with nutrition programs. She was counting calories before she got to me. I really encouraged her to like zoom out before we zoom back in, right? So she was like all nervous about not counting calories anymore and doing the process that I wanted her to do. And I was like, you know what? Like, you're an adult. You can definitely make that call yourself, but I am going to encourage you to do it this way because there is a reason why we laid things out the way we laid them out. She's seen lots of success already. She's lost like 8 pounds already. But I caught up with her earlier this week and I was like, so what do you think so far? And she was like, I keep telling my friends like how simple it is. And I was like, okay, tell me more. And she was like, there's no like list of foods that I can and cannot have. There's no like rigid rules. It's just like, collect this data and let's try to make it a little bit better every day, and focusing on the boring, simple, foundational things like not overeating and eating slowly and getting enough sleep and these duh things, but they may be duh, like you know them, but there is a difference between knowing and doing.
I had a client that started last week. Her first check-in will actually be today, and I'm very curious, but she started laughing when we were on Zoom together, and I kind of showed her the way she was going to be collecting information and talking about the habits, and a very similar backstory. She has a lot of knowledge with counting macros and counting calories, but again, we're going to start with a focus on habits. And I pulled open the drop down with the list of the 10 habits, and she started killing herself laughing. She was like, I didn't even think those things were going to be important. But she was like, okay, I'm excited. Like she realized she was trying to do so much and she hadn't addressed some of these things that we have identified as being fundamentally important to making your nutrition work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it.
I mean, from a fitness standpoint, I think the biggest one you see all the time is something like muscle ups, right? And, you know, I talked about it in the intro, but honestly, we see this often is people see someone doing it like, I want to do that. And they just get up in the rings and they start flailing around. Mostly guys will be flailing around in the rings. Ladies do this too. But here are the steps that you have to do first. Can you hold your chin over the bar for 20, 30 seconds? Can you do negatives 5 to 10, super slow? Can you do 1 strict pull-up? Oh, you got 1? Can you do 2? Can you do 5? Can you do 10? Now, can you do a chest to bar strict pull-up? Okay, cool. Can you do a ring support hold for 30 seconds? Oh, you got that? Can you do 5 strict ring dips?
Right.
Okay, now we can start swinging on the rings.
It's a progression. Just like how we do it with Stacked, it's a progression. You start with the basic stuff first. This same client that I'm talking about, though, messaged me earlier this week, and she had left, you know, those like smoothie places that are called like whatever nutrition, and it's just a bunch of smoothies.
Yeah.
Those are popping up all
over the place.
So she went to one of these places and she left in tears. She was like, there were so many options. There were so many, like, this thing gives you this benefit and this thing gives you this benefit. And she was like, at the end, like, I had spent $25 on a smoothie. I don't know what the hell is in it. They just overwhelmed me with decisions.
I wonder if eating a 60-gram piece of king cake is healthier than eating one of those smoothies.
Well, I don't know. But at the end of the day, she messaged me after that experience and she was like, what do you think about that? And I'm like, are there some benefits to some of these things that they're putting in your smoothie? Potentially. But it's, people are so like going after the magic pill, the supplements, the thing that is going to do this for me. And again, that is mowing the lawn with your house on fire. You know, are you doing the simple things consistently first?
It's not paying attention to the foundation. I just thought about, did y'all ever watch Arrested Development?
I loved it.
Okay, so they build this like great housing community, and it turns out that the houses are total crap. Like if you're too focused on how it looks from the outside and
then they're living in the attic.
Being able to Instagram your smoothie or you doing a muscle up, but you don't have the foundational habits or strength, like you don't have a strong foundation. It's not something you can do again.
What do you think is like causing this?
I think that there's more information now than ever. So I view my role as coach, especially with nutrition, especially with people who come in knowing a lot or who pay attention to a lot of things. They have a lot of questions because there's so much information out there. I call it the sexy approaches. Like, people have to come up with a sexy approach to nutrition to sell books at the end of the day.
Or get clicks.
Right. Or get
likes,
clicks.
comments.
So people that are saying, like, you need to be concerned about, like, A2 protein in milk, and, like, you know, it's just like, can that be a nuance that once you build the foundation may make a difference? Yes. But is that the thing that you need to focus on in the beginning? No.
Yeah. I spend a ton of time looking at exercise videos on Instagram. Sarah does too. We share them back and forth. And then we try some. But you know what Sarah and I do? We work out 45 minutes to an hour, 5 to 6 days a week. We have mastered the basics for years. If you look at our squats, look good, our deadlifts look good, our presses look good, heads through the window, and we have laid this foundation where we can try all this fun stuff. You know, when you got people wanting to try this stuff and they can't squat below parallel or can't swing a kettlebell correctly or a hip hinge, you know, then it's a problem. So it's like, get off of Facebook, get off of Instagram when it comes to this stuff, and just do the work, the simple work, build up these habits. Flipping to nutrition, I had a client. He knows who he is. He's going to hear it. He listens to our show. I love him. But we were like in week 3, and he said, oh, I'm starting this celery juice cleanse. And I'm like, why? Well, it does this, this, and this. I'm like, cool. I said, so what are you going to do about those 10 alcoholic beverages and the 4 cookies you eat per day and this restaurant meal here and all the sugar over here? Like, it doesn't counteract that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so why don't we clean this stuff up first, have everything in order, and then we can put the celery. Just, you know what it's like? It's like people that have water filtration systems for their house, but eat like dog shit.
Yeah.
Or like focused on alkaline water, or like what is the latest trend, but they're not doing the basic things that they need to do.
Well, and I would bet money, kind of to bring it full circle with last week, that those are the people that struggle to get out of the habit dip the hardest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many things. We could go on and on here, and I love just throwing these examples out. Like, I could just list examples over and over again. You know, I think one of the biggest, it's not a sham because I believe in organic farming, but the organic labeling. People are worried, like, is this organic? Is it not? Let me tell you something. If you pick up a freaking box of crackers and you're worried about an organic label on a box of crackers, you're doing it wrong when you're not eating enough vegetables and fruits in a day.
Yeah.
Why are you worried about these organic crackers? Guess what? You're still going to gain weight.
I mean, one of my favorite stories was my husband Ryan switching to organic gummy bears one time. And I was like, they're still gummy bears. They're still full of sugar.
Right.
Like, is it probably like better sugar? Yes, but it's still a ton of it. Or even I will get people that they've done really well with the habits and nutrition. They move on to phase 2 and they're immediately worried about the timing of their macros. And I'm like, nah, let's just get them in first in a way that doesn't feel like work. Like, how can you eat what you need to eat throughout the day? I'm not too worried at this moment about when.
Or you got to be.
You called
we
me
go.
out last time.
That
There we
is
go.
my mom. Mom
Don't blame it on her.
calling me in
That,
the middle.
do not blame it on her. That was your bad for not silencing your phone.
You think she calls me immediately again?
I hope so.
If she calls a third time, we'll stop the podcast. So, you know, I've talked about this in previous podcasts, and I think that this fits perfectly for this. And it's that success is not simultaneously, it's sequential, right?
Yes.
And so that is picking the one thing that you can focus on and be successful on that will have the most immediate impact on your diet, fitness, financial situation, home life, relationship, etc., anything that's in your life, what is that one thing that is going to have the most immediate impact on you? And do it well, be super successful at it, and then what?
Stack it up.
Then you move on to the next thing.
Absolutely. That reminds me of another person that I have worked with. She was in phase 1 of stacked coaching, which is just habit-based. And she came to me after like 6 weeks and she's like, I'm not progressing at all. Like, haven't progressed at all. And her weight hadn't changed a whole lot, right? But then I showed her the comparison to her habits when she first started and her habits now. And it was a huge shift, right? So then we moved her into phase 2 and it was like, bam, she had created the foundation. Once we added the, controlling the energy balance piece to the equation, it was like unstoppable change. So just goes to show you it works.
Yeah.
Even if you don't feel like you're making major progress towards your goal in terms of your weight or your body composition, you have to lay that foundation. You have to learn the ABCs before you learn to read.
Yeah, let's lay it out. Let's lay it out right now. Okay? You're at home. You don't exercise. You're not, you're kind of stuck maybe in your head. You're not at a weight you want to be. You're not healthy. Okay? What's step 1?
Put on your shoes.
Put on your shoes. Okay. I like that. Step 2?
Go out for a walk.
Go for a walk.
Get your neat up.
Step 3, probably do that walk again the next day.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit faster. Maybe a
I
little bit longer.
Well, I actually just explained this to a client I just had a call with. It's accumulating all of those yeses to yourself. I was like, every time you get up with your alarm, you said yes. Every time you show up to the gym, you said yes. Every time you talk yourself, like you go for the run instead of talking yourself into the row, you've said yes to yourself. You've accumulated all of that. You feel good. You want to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because this happens with making my bed. Like, I used to never make my bed, and then I would make my bed, and I would make it every now and then. And then I made the conscious decision to make it every single day. And now, even when I'm running late and, like, the kids are screaming bloody murder in the background, and I got to get out because I got to get Brennan to school, then drop off Vivian at Little Red Schoolhouse. Shout out.
Bed gets made.
Bed gets made.
Mm-hmm.
I will make that bed before I leave.
Yeah.
Just because, why? Because
it's a habit.
Became a habit. And so that goes the same thing. I had this talk with a client. She's in her 3rd or 4th week of phase 2. So she is weighing her food. And she was someone who was very resistant to this possibility. And now she's doing it. She was very resistant to weighing herself on a scale every day. Now she's weighing herself every day. Not an issue. But it was funny, like, she was a little disappointed because she didn't lose X amount of weight, or there were some issues in there. And I said, look, we're in our 3rd week of weighing and tracking. I said, the whole goal of this is just to do it every single day.
Mm-hmm.
If we do it every single day, we will get better at it.
Yep.
And if we get better at it, you'll be successful.
Yes.
No questions about it. It's just
a matter of the data at that point.
Right. But it's like, let's just take the one step. What's one step? The action of doing it.
Yes.
2 steps, building that action every day. 3rd step, getting better at it. 4th step, now we start to manipulate the data. But I mean, it's really simple. And if you follow those little bitty successful steps, one after the other, it won't be daunting. Like, if you were running a race, okay, are you looking at the end or are you looking at the next mile marker?
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking at the end, the race is going to suck.
Yeah.
If you look at the next mile marker, it'll be a lot better. It's like, for example, if you're doing a CrossFit competition, okay, if you're looking at the final time or the final rep, you are going to fail. Okay, well, not fail, but it's going to be really difficult rather than just taking it 1 rep at a time.
Yeah, and I think just as people are looking for a sexy approach, there is also a desire to feel like they can share with others, like that aha moment or that one particular thing they changed, versus I feel like with the way we work with most of our clients, whether it's with Stacked or in the gym at Rue, it's they might have an aha moment where they realize there has been a mindset shift, but they look back and they realize all of the little things they have done. And if you ask most people, I mean, like in Stacked, someone who went from, 20 drinks a week suddenly is having 4 or 5, and it wasn't overnight. It wasn't something that just magically happened. It was just slow little changes. And they filtered down into other aspects of their life. And suddenly you have a completely different mindset, a completely different lifestyle maybe. But there was no aha moment that you could share with the world.
And there doesn't need to be one.
No. But we think there needs to be
Right.
one. That's the difference.
It's like owning a business too. There's not like one thing that we decided and the next day we were successful, right? It's a bunch of micro decisions, consistency in those actions, being willing to take imperfect action and iterate, make it a little bit better every single day. Like that ultimately is what makes us successful as a business. So you can take it and look at any kind of progression of behavior, not just nutrition or fitness related, but what generates success. Little bitty things over time.
I'll tell you what. I got one thing.
What?
Showing up.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. Like once you make that commitment, and whether that's like you make a commitment to a relationship, if you show up, that relationship will be successful. You have a family, if you show up to being present in that family, you'll be successful. If you make a commitment to your nutrition and you just show up and just do what is asked of you on a daily basis, 100% you will be successful. And the same goes with fitness. You just have to show up.
I don't think it takes even 100%. Like I said, like I don't think.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Like you 100% will be successful. Like just show up.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
The fail rate is small when you just show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think part of having a ton of information out there, for example, I really like Lewis Howe's podcast. And for timing's sake, when he talks about his past, he can't talk about it for 30 minutes every time he does a podcast and a guest wants to talk about where he's been and where he got there now. He sums it up really nicely, but he lived for years making these changes and becoming who he is now. But we hear it in 2 minutes and we want the same thing for ourselves.
I think I see people looking at me and like, because I teach most of our fundamental sessions, and they look at me and I've been doing CrossFit for 10 years and they're like, oh, you make it look so easy. Well, I didn't start out this way, promise. You're looking at the end result and saying, oh, I want to be that now. It takes time. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Anything else to add?
I don't think so. Focus on the basics.
I like it.
Build the foundation well. Build it well.
And then you can do the fancy stuff.
Yeah. Then mow your lawn.
And then you can be
Hire a
a bougie
landscaper.
nutrition client.
Okay.
Okay, shut up now, Bradley. All right, y'all. Thanks for listening. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.